Welcome to the Featured Anime Podcast. I'm your host, Jack. Unfortunately, Rick couldn't join us today, but that's all right. I mean, like, he'll be back with us next week. If you want to help support us, help us grow and everything like that, you can go to patreon.com/Featured Anime Podcast. $1 a month will gain you access to some bonus content that we usually put out as well. I'd like to talk about Tokyo Treats. Now, Tokyo Treats is a fun and exclusive Japanese snack box subscription service that features exciting and unique flavors straight from Japan. And each box is also filled with a variety of Japanese snack items, like limited edition Kit Kats, specialty flavored chips, and occasionally sodas that are only available in Japan for a limited time. Now, on top of that, you also get a cultural guide book in every single box. Now, what's really cool about this book is not only does it give you information about the culture and whatever's going on in Japan right now during this time of year, there's also information about the snacks that you're going to be eating, which is really great, especially if you have a food allergy and you're trying to avoid certain foods or you have a preferred diet. This booklet has all that information in there for you to make sure you're not eating something you're not supposed to be or something that you don't want to be. Also, every single month, Tokyo Treat has a different theme, usually aligning with the season or holiday in Japan or promoting certain cultural celebrations. And that brings me to what this month's theme is. This month's theme is Very Merry Snackmas. And it is the season for snacking. So this month, Tokyo Treat is bringing a festive cheer with limited edition holiday box packed with sweets and delicious treats straight from Japan, and along with other wonderful winter delights. From unique seasonal flavors to classic holiday favorites, this box captures the magic of Japan during the holidays. So treat yourself or share the joy with a loved one or friends or anything like that with this Very Merry Snackmas. Now, a couple of my favorite treats out of this box personally was the Kit Kat White Chocolate Crepes, the Sour Cream and Onion Waffle Chips, the Ghana Holiday Chocolate Truffles, and I also really loved the Cozy Caramel Corn Puffs and Nuts. Honestly, one of my top favorite treats out of this whole thing. There's all kinds of other treats inside this box, and honestly, all of them are great. You will get this box, you'll finish it off in the same day, and you know what? What's really great is if you are one of our listeners and you use our affiliate link in the show notes, along with coupon code Featured Anime, you get $5 off that very first box. And you know what? You can use that coupon code and buy your friend something. You can buy your other friend something. You can make up a bunch of friends and just get a whole bunch of boxes. Because you know what? Honestly, once you get that box, you're going to eat it right away. And it's not going to last long because you will just eat the whole box like I do in one sitting. So again, special for our listeners, if you use coupon code Featured Anime at checkout along with our affiliate link, you'll save yourself $5. And of course, you can also feel free to check out the other affiliate links in there. We have a nice link in there. If you use our link for Crunchyroll for their store, you get yourself 15% off your first order. And now onto the meat and brotatoes. The anime we're going to be talking about today is Heart no Kuni no Alice, Wonderful Wonder World. Yes, that is the title of it. This was a random choice, and it is a movie. It came out in July 2011, and producer for it is Omnibus Promotion. Studio for it is Asahi Production. It's based off of a visual novel. The genres are fantasy, romance, and isekai, and it ran for about an hour and 24 minutes. Now, the primary premise of Heart no Kuni no Alice is basically the same exact premise as Lewis Carroll's classic Alice in Wonderland. Now, it completely reimagines it though. So this entire movie is basically is a retelling or a complete change on how that movie actually is or how the story actually is. You're also interjected into it in the middle of actually what has happened. So you're not going through the whole process like you have originally gone through, where Alice originally goes there and goes through the normal method. She's already there. She's been there for a long time, and the characters are changed, and their whole ideology behind everything is different. So the characters are reimagined, their premise or their focal points are changed from how they originally were. And this story is in large part kind of confusing. Largely because I'm guessing it's assuming that you have a base of the source material or kind of know exactly what's going on, because it starts off with our main character Alice being chased by a group of individuals who are called faceless, and then you have people who have faces and they're considered main characters in a manner of speaking. So it just really kind of makes things a little weird and unique. And so you have Humpty Dumpty, which are the two individuals. However, they're vastly different from how you would have ever completely remembered them in the original storytelling. Or not Humpty Dumpty, but Tweedledee Tweedledum, rather. And I guess they're kind of like murderous, a little off their kilter, so to speak, in that regard. So when you're looking at them and they're running around everywhere, they're kids, but they have giant axes. You also have the Mad Hatter, who is Blood Dupree, and he is actually the leader of the Hatters, which are actually a mob group or a mafia. So instead of him being like a Mad Hatter, like in the original stories, it's the Hatters are a group of mafia, and he is the leader of the Hatters. So just to kind of give you a little bit of a spin or taste of the uniqueness of it. And in all honesty, when you're following the story and you're trying to go through, the beginning really doesn't have a set method in how you're presented the story or how it's approached. It largely relies on you knowing the story and knowing that they're not starting at the beginning and they're backtracking with some dreams or memories or something along those lines, because it's never really explained what's happening in the beginning, why she's being chased in the beginning, or anything else that's really kind of happening there. This story just really in large part feels like she is just moving through this world, and she's looking for a vial, so to speak, because she says she can't return to her original world without this vial. And so the importance of the vial, what the deal or the story is with the vial or anything like that is really unknown. They don't really go into too much details about it. However, you also don't focus largely on Alice. There's certain points or certain focal points where she is focused on, but at the exact same time when they change scenes or they are going for a different completely story portion of it, there's large context or massive amount of information that's just not there. They don't tell you everything. There's a lot that's actually not going on, told, or you're not given enough information for everything that's going on. And from my research, from what I can understand is, while the Alice in Wonderland is based on a visual novel, the anime itself probably leans more heavily on the game side of it, because there was a game that follows this. It's a reverse harem game that this kind of loosely follows for. So I'm assuming if you've played the game that this movie makes a lot more sense in that regard. But unless you've played the game, this movie makes absolutely no sense at all, or even the manga. really, or the light novel, the source material, for it. So the visual novel. However, without that information, without all the story and what's actually happening and why everyone's in the position that they're in, you're just kind of left sitting there with a basket full of questions, which really honestly is one of the more disappointing or one of the more aggravating points of this anime. Now, while the animation is very reminiscent and reminds me of a lot of other shows that are out there, it feels a lot older than 2011, which personally I found kind of detracting from it. The character style, the animation, the fluidity of it just really wasn't there. And for something that is as new as this, it really kind of ruined it for me. I was expecting a lot more, especially from Asahi Productions and Omnibus as well. I mean, like, they're both associated with a lot of great shows, a lot of great animes, especially Asahi Production, where a lot of the animations and a lot of the shows that they've done are very well done, very clean, very unique, and how they look and feel, they feel great for a majority of what I've seen from them. And this just really kind of fell short for me. I did not care for the animation. I did not care for the story at all, in all honesty. And I just feel like there was a lot left to be desired as well at the exact same time. So I don't know. This is not a movie that there's really a whole lot of substance to. If you're expecting there to be a large mirror image of how this is compared to the original Alice in Wonderland, you're not going to see that. There's a lot of changes. A lot of characters are changed completely. Take the Queen of Hearts, for example. While she does behead a lot of people, she really just doesn't care too much, and she's not too strict on it. And everyone else is kind of accepting of the matter. And they give excuses for why you wouldn't want to execute someone, rather than them being horrified that people are being executed over it. And then you have the rabbit that's usually with her. He's anthropomorphic. He's a man with rabbit ears, and he's absolutely in love with Alice in this story. And then you have Cheshire Cat with the exact same thing, except the Queen has a very fondness for the Cheshire Cat. And it just really, honestly, the story just does not make sense to me. I had honestly a really hard time following it. This was not something that I feel like it did justice to it in general. I feel like the writing was completely sloppy, and you're just not given the justice that this could have been. And I feel like, I don't know, they really kind of dropped the ball on this one, especially for a fantasy romance that they were trying to achieve. And it could have just been done so much better, in my personal opinion. And it's not even the fact that this writing was sloppy and it being the only thing that was holding it back. It's the sloppy writing and then the horrible animation. And I may be too critical on the animation, because I've watched other shows where the animation was kind of like that, like this. However, at the exact same time, you had story that really kind of flowed with it. And I feel like the animation just compounded onto it. And so I don't know. I don't see like what could possibly make me love this show, love this movie really a whole lot. I do think, though, it is a unique twist and unique ideology on the whole Alice in Wonderland motif, on the whole Alice in Wonderland idea. Simply because you do have a completely different set of characters where they're written differently. The story and background behind them is completely different. I like that, they're making Alice kind of like a focal love interest point for a majority of the characters. So making this a reverse harem. I do like that portion of it where she at the exact same time is like, I really don't care what you think about me, or I really don't care that you care about me. I just want to go home. However, at the exact same time, everyone's very kind of creepy in how they approach her, how they talk to her, how they interact with her. It's, I don't care if you never see me, or if I never see you, if this and that, as long as you're here in this world. It's like, well, if you never see her again, like, what does it matter? Number one, why would you care if she's in this world or her original world? And like, why are you, so focused intently on her, focusing on her so creepily? It's just, there's a lot that goes on here where it just does not jive well for me. But honestly, if you're looking for something that just is really mind numbing, mindless, and doesn't really matter at all, then in that case, I would honestly say, give it a watch, especially if you want to have a different ideology, different viewpoints on Alice in Wonderland and the characters and what they could look like in a humanoid style form. So it is definitely unique in that regard, but they don't really give you too much information beyond that. Now, I know that fans of the visual novel, of the game and everything like that, I do remember reading that they had expressed a lot of disappointment over the film's pacing and the focal points of the characters, and they felt like key characters didn't receive sufficient screen time. In all honesty, when it comes to something like this, especially when it's based on a game or there's a visual novel and there's a lot of moving parts to this, I think making it into a movie really detracts it from that. And it would have been better served as a series versus a movie. My personal opinion on that. So, but that's coming from someone who hasn't read the original books and who hasn't played the game at all. So, I don't know. So basically on a scale of up to 10, I'd give this a 2. In all honesty, it is a unique look at, it is a unique watch, but anything beyond that, it really holds no weight, holds no substance. It is really in large part just kind of there. And that's basically it. I mean, like, the story just really doesn't make sense to me. The animation really wasn't on point for me. It felt a lot older than what it was, which just tells me after 13 years, it did not age well at all, which is real disappointment because there's a lot of potential, a lot of things that can happen where things do get, could be aged really well or done right. So that way they age well. And this just was not done right at all. Now, next week's choice, we are going to be watching another movie. And the movie we're going to be watching is the Overlord movie, which is Overlord Sayoroku no Hen, which is the Sacred Kingdom. Overlord, the Sacred Kingdom movie. Now, if you feel like I did too much justice, not enough justice, which is more than likely the true portion of this, where I didn't do enough justice on this, feel free to let me know. You reach out to us at all our contact information and everything like that is available in the show notes. And it's also available on our website at featuredanimepodcast.com. And until next time, I'm Jack.